Hello and welcome to the 2020 Democratic primary. So recently the debate has happened, the first one, and it came out very interesting. I have a video on it. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. I commentated about it for the day 1 and day 2. So what I'm using is RCP. This is the July update. Very much has changed. Before we get started, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, and if you are already subscribed, hit the notification bell to get notified when new videos come out. So let's get started. So currently, Biden has hit 27% average in the polls. This is the lowest since February, and one of his lowest points he has ever been at. Sanders is near his low too of 14.6. He's only slightly off. Warren has hit a record. Harris has hit a record. Buttigieg has slightly declined. O'Rourke is at his lowest. Booker is about the same. So we're going to start off in the Iowa caucuses. There's been a recent poll after the debate which shows Harris gaining a lot. And Harris throughout the country I think is going to gain a lot in the next new polls coming out. I don't think she would win the Iowa caucus. I think Joe Biden would still win it, probably with 10 delegates, followed by Kamala Harris, tied with Bernie Sanders. Elizabeth Warren slightly behind. Pete Buttigieg has declined slightly, so I think he wouldn't get as much as he would have been before, or probably get one delegate. And there's the Iowa caucuses. We're going to X out of that now. New Hampshire. For some reason, Biden's leading there. It's very weird. If there was no polling out, I would give the state to Sanders. I'm going to not give it the margin showing in the polls there. It's showing Biden, Sanders, Warren, then Buttigieg, then Harris. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give Joe Biden 25%, give Sanders 5 delegates, Elizabeth Warren 4, Buttigieg 4, Kamala Harris 3, and there's 2 delegates left. Who else is doing good there? O'Rourke and Booker's actually doing pretty good there. So yeah, I'll actually give O'Rourke and Booker the 2 other delegates. Moving out of the New Hampshire primary, moving into the Nevada primary now, Nevada caucus. Biden plus 13, I think it would actually be a lot closer than what it's saying, but it could be with the recent Warren surge taking Sanders' lead away. Nevada, I'm going to give also to Joe Biden. Probably 33, followed by Warren at 27, or 10 delegates. Then Bernie with 8. Kamala Harris, I think, would probably get... Actually, let's lower these by 1. Harris would probably get 7 as well. Pete Buttigieg actually is doing good there. O'Rourke is doing good there too. Probably 8. There. So the first 3, these are very major states, have gone all to Joe Biden. Very interesting so far. Going into South Carolina, Biden also leading here by a large margin. With the recent poll that I think that'll come out soon will show him to have a huge drop, with a lot of African American voters going towards Kamala Harris after the debate talked about the busing and Biden. So I'm going to still give this to Biden with probably 31, and then Kamala Harris probably would get about 24. Sanders and Warren, I think, would tie, probably with 7 delegates. Buttigieg would probably get 5. O'Rourke would get a few. Cory Booker would get a few. Oh, there's 2 delegates left. Yang, I think, could get one, yeah. Even though Yang didn't do too well in the debates. I'm actually gonna give Cory Booker the 2. He didn't. He was. I think he was just too nervous, and he didn't get enough time. He only got like 3 minutes out of a 2-hour debate, so that's not good. That's 1.5% of the debate was him talking. So South Carolina is done. California, the big, most delegates there are in the country, 416 for the Democratic. Did not want to do that. I did not want to go to the Senate. There has not been a recent poll there, but I think Harris would win here. She, in the last poll, it shows her decline, but with recent jump of 7% in the polls for her, I think this would push her to win her home state. Probably with like 27, followed by Joe Biden with 22 or 93 delegates. Bernie, who else was doing good? Did Warren surge there? Oh yeah, Warren did surge there. I would actually tie Bernie Sanders and Warren. There we go. I think Pete Buttigieg will get a few delegates. O'Rourke could get a few. Not that much. Cory Booker. Castro. Klobuchar. Yang. Gabbard. Let's give the rest to Kamala Harris. So first state not going to Joe Biden is California, going to Kamala Harris. Let's get rid of that now. Texas. O'Rourke. I don't. This would be very close. I think that Joe Biden will now currently edge Beto O'Rourke out of his home state, which he did very well in the Senate race. He would be definitely in second place there now. Sanders, Warren, and I think Sanders and Warren would tie. Maybe a slight lead for Sanders. Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, Cory Booker, Julian Castro. Massachusetts now. I think Warren would win here. There's no recent poll showing Warren's surge. This is her home state. She's a senator there, and I think she'd probably get a close race here with Joe Biden, followed by Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, or get a few, Cory Booker. Maine, this is a new poll, about 2 weeks old. This is before the debate, so you can't really see a Harris surge and a Biden drop and a Warren slight gain. This is showing Joe Biden will win here too. Very, very weird, probably because the split with Warren and Sanders. So probably would get 29, and then with Warren, would get 6 delegates. 5 delegates for Sanders. Who else is doing good there? Buttigieg. Oh, wow. Yang is doing very well there. Hmm. Probably Cory Booker would get one. Another state going to Biden. Now North Carolina showing a Biden lead. This is an older poll, though. This is back in May. It's a month old poll, and I did not want to go to the governor races. This is also going to show African Americans turning on Biden here, and I still think he'd win here, but he'd lose about 7%, followed by probably Kamala Harris, and then Warren and Sanders. Buttigieg get a bit. Work. Cory Booker. 3 delegates left. Probably Yang. Pennsylvania. No really new poll in the last 2 months. Biden plus 19 here. Joe Biden would also probably win here, but not as much as it's saying. I'm probably about 46 delegates instead of like 50. Followed by Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg. Let's lower this slightly. Not Steve Bullock. Where is he? He just the recent new candidate for the Democratic nomination. Joe Sestak. Probably get a few delegates there. He is from that state. I think he was a representative. So yeah, I think he'd get a couple delegates. His name's probably somewhat known around there. But Pennsylvania going to Biden. Florida now. This was where the debate was held. There's no poll after the debate yet. But showing Joe Biden win there. Surprised how low O'Rourke is, though. Probably followed by now Kamala Harris, Sanders, Warren, Buttigieg, O'Rourke, Cory Booker. Florida's done. Now Virginia. This is another slightly new poll, about a month old. Maybe on the slightly on the older side of polls. Biden wins plus 19, followed by Sanders, Warren, Buttigieg, Harris. Another, I think, turn away of the African Americans there. Let's give it to Marianne Williamson. She even pulled there? No. Okay, so these are all the polls out of state so far, showing Biden winning most of them except for two. According to me, there's still 3,000 delegates remaining, and so far, first place Joe Biden, followed by Kamala Harris, then Bernie Sanders, then Warren, O'Rourke, Pete Buttigieg, Cory Booker, and so on. We're gonna do the rest of the Northeast. So Vermont, I think that Joe Biden would definitely not win. This would be a definitely Bernie Sanders win. Probably a tie between Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren. Harris probably get one delegate. Rhode Island, I think this would go to Bernie Sanders slightly. Elizabeth Warren getting a lot of the vote there. Cory Booker, where is Cory Booker? Here. Pete Buttigieg get a bit. Connecticut, I think Bernie Sanders would win. Oh, 4 delegates left. Cory Booker. New York, Joe Biden would win. Kristen Gillibrand would get, I think, 10% almost. Yang. New Jersey now, I think, be closely between Cory Booker and Joe Biden there. But going to Joe Biden's home state, Delaware, would go to him. Maryland would also go to Joe Biden, but with the high African American population there, I think Kamala Harris would do pretty good. And we're going to go finish Georgia now. I think Kamala Harris would win here. Be a close race, though. We're going to do the South. Alabama would go to Kamala Harris. Mississippi would also go to Kamala Harris. Oh, 2 delegates left. Bidwork. Actually, no. Pete Buttigieg. Louisiana would also, I think, go to Kamala Harris. Cory Booker. Bidwork. Oh, 6 delegates left. Leon Castro, Tulsi Gabbard. Four more. There we go. Arkansas. I think Joe Biden would edge this one out from Kamala Harris. We're gonna do the Midwest now. West Virginia, I think that Bernie Sanders would win. And where's Buttigieg? Here. Ohio, I think Joe Biden would also win. Be close between him and Sanders. Warren would do pretty good here. Kamala Harris would do pretty good here as well. Buttigieg would do good. Indiana, I think Pete Buttigieg would win. This is his home state. This would be closely behind Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris. I think also Kentucky would go to Pete Buttigieg, followed by Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren. Tennessee, I think, would also go to Pete Buttigieg, followed by Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders. Oh, one more. Let's give it to Yang. Michigan, I think, would go to Bernie Sanders. He won the state. He was expected to win it in 2016. I think he would do it again in 2020 for the primary. Actually, let's change this a bit. There we go. Let's go Wisconsin. This would also be a Bernie Sanders state. Illinois. I think Bernie Sanders would win here. Be close. Minnesota, I think that Bernie Sanders would edge this from Amy Klobuchar. Before, I thought she would win it, and after the poor debate performance, I think she would not now. Followed by Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris. Missouri, this is a close state. I think Joe Biden would. No, I think Bernie Sanders would win the here. Be very close. North Dakota, this would be Bernie Sanders' ground here. Same with South Dakota. Nebraska, this also Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders for Kansas. Oklahoma, also Bernie Sanders. Beto O'Rourke. New Mexico, Bernie Sanders. Tulsi Gabbard, probably get one. Colorado, where is Bennett? And Hickenlooper. Wyoming would go to Bernie Sanders. Montana would go to Steve Bullock, followed by Bernie Sanders. Arizona would go to, I think this would go to Joe Biden. Utah would go to Sanders. Idaho would also go to Sanders. Two more, probably Buttigieg or Washington would probably go to Sanders as well. There's Jay Inslee. Oregon, I think, no, not Tim Ryan. I think Kamala Harris would pull his state out, followed by Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren. Hawaii would go to Gabbard. She did pretty good in the day one debate of the first debate, and think she would win her home state now. But Alaska, I think, would go to Bernie Sanders, followed by Gravel. Where is Gravel? Oh, here's Gravel. District of Columbia would go to Joe Biden, followed by Kamala Harris. Cory Booker, Julian Castro. Puerto Rico would go, Puerto Rico would, I think Joe Biden, Julian Castro, and Beto O'Rourke do pretty good there. Virginia, not Virginia. Yes, Virgin Islands. Probably Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Oh, 3 more delegates. Joe Biden. Leaving now the super delegates, which I think would go to Kamala Harris now, followed by Joe Biden. Giving Joe Biden the, oh wait, what? One toss-up, what the heck? Where's that one toss-up at? Wait. Oh, it's in Nevada. Oh, shoot. To Kamala. Okay, for the nomination, Joe Biden gets it, but technically there wouldn't be enough delegates. But this is just going back, like, first to last in delegates, and no one's dropping out, so there wouldn't be enough anyways. And I don't know if there would be enough anyways if, let's say there was 6 candidates that didn't drop out. So Joe Biden in first, followed by Kamala Harris, then Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Pete Buttigieg, Beto O'Rourke, Cory Booker, and so on. Thank you for watching. Please go down, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified when new videos come out. Bye.